So I've seen a lot online of people putting their cars in ChatGPT to have them roast it. So I decided to take that one step further, and I created my own bod.
So you took a faded, tired SUV and turned it into a budget Mad Max Reject? Bold move. You've turned this thing into a half-camouflaged, doorless disaster with what looks like a plumbing supply strapped to the roof. The after is like someone's first attempt at a DIY apocalypse vehicle after watching too many low-budget action movies. At least the original had doors and, some dignity left. Next time, just leave it in the junkyard and save the world from witnessing this before and after.
Wow, you turned a boring old minivan into a tiger-striped, roll-caged, front-end monstrosity? Let's call this the Tiger King Special. It's like you were halfway through a safari conversion when you decided to chop the roof and call it a day. The brush guard looks like it was salvaged from a playground, and that roll cage? Well, I hope it's stronger than it looks because this thing screams accident waiting to happen. Sure, it's unique, but so is a mullet, doesn't mean it's a good idea. The only real improvement is that it's now a conversation piece, but the conversation is likely to start with, what were they thinking?
Oh hey, look at you turning a sad little Suzuki into something that's actually interesting. The lift and those beefy tires almost make this thing look like it could handle more than a grocery run. But then, you went and slapped on those bright green wheels. What is this, a Halloween costume gone wrong? And that hood scoop, does it actually do anything, or is it just there to give your car the illusion of speed it'll never achieve? The light bar and bull bar up front are trying real hard to convince everyone this isn't just a toy pretending to be an off-roader. But hey, at least now when you get stuck in the mud, you'll look cool waiting for the tow truck.
Well, look who's ready for the zombie apocalypse. You took a bland, forgotten SUV and gave it a serious upgrade. If your idea of an upgrade is turning it into an urban assault vehicle. That front grille looks like it could plow through a herd of undead or just intimidate the hell out of someone at the grocery store. The roof-mounted storage and all those lights are a nice touch, though I'm not sure if you're planning on camping in the wilderness or storming Area 51. But let's be real, you've gone so overboard with the Mad Max cosplay that I can't tell if this thing's ready to off-road or if it's just screaming for attention in the parking lot. Good job making it look like you're preparing for the end of the world, but maybe consider toning it down before you get mistaken for an extra in a post-apocalyptic movie.
Congratulations, you've officially taken a sad, beat-up Beetle and somehow made it even worse. This poor bug went from meh to oh no in record time. Chopping off the roof and removing the front bumper wasn't just a downgrade, it's a cry for help. Those giant, useless spikes and red-tinted lights on the front scream, I tried too hard, but all they really do is make this thing look like it's in the middle of a really unfortunate identity crisis. If the goal was to make it roadworthy again, you missed the mark by about a mile. You could have spent your time fixing the original issues instead of creating new ones. But hey, at least it's unique, uniquely tragic.
Alright, this Jeep has definitely gone through some changes, but let's talk about the elephant, or should I say Deadpool, in the room. The red and black theme isn't bad. But did you really need to go full superhero cosplay? The hood graphic is bold, but now it feels like you're driving around a rolling comic book. The light bar and those spiked fender flares are trying way too hard to give this thing some off-road cred. But all they're really doing is making it look like it's overcompensating for something. The roof rack looks ready to carry a load of regret because you've clearly invested more time and effort into making this thing look cool than it would take to actually take it off-road. It's an improvement, no doubt, but it's also a billboard for midlife crises on wheels. Enjoy the attention, you're definitely going to get plenty of it.
You've transformed your Mitsubishi into what can only be described as a fast and furious fever dream on a budget. The stock 3000 GT had that sleek 90s sports car vibe, but you've turned it into a confused mashup of a rally car and an action movie prop. The roof-mounted lights are trying to scream off-road, but those shiny, oversized wheels and tires look like they're better suited for a lowrider show than tearing through mud. And let's not ignore the elephant, or rather, the twin miniguns, on the hood. Are you planning on blasting your way through traffic, or is this just an elaborate attempt to make people forget the paint scuffs? Either way, those guns are about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. You might have had something going if you'd stuck to one theme, but as it stands, this car looks like it's suffering from a serious identity crisis.
So, you took a sad, busted sedan and turned it into a cosplay car straight out of Resident Evil. I guess that's one way to deal with a trashed bumper, just cover it up with enough stickers and decals that nobody notices the dents. The Umbrella Corporation logo is a nice touch, but unless you're actually hunting zombies, it's more of a cry for attention than a practical upgrade. The spoiler and roof lights are trying to add some flair, but let's be real, it's still a banged-up daily driver underneath all that wannabe apocalypse gear. Kudos for creativity, but maybe next time start with a car that hasn't already seen the wrong side of a fender bender.
You've taken an HHR panel van that was blending into the background and turned it into something that looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi B-movie. Those blue accents pop like a bat paint job at a high school art fair, but hey, at least you're making a statement. The front bumper now looks like it could demolish a small building, and the roof-mounted contraption, whatever that is, gives the impression that this thing is ready to go full Mad Max at a moment's notice. The roof fan and that sci-fi weapon on the hood are certainly unique. I mean, they serve zero practical purpose, but they definitely attract attention. The whole setup screams, I wanted to build a tank, but this is all I had. It's a solid effort in turning a blah van into something memorable, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. Props for the creativity, but I'd maybe dial it back a notch before the local authorities start asking questions.
Now, this is a transformation. You took a plain Jane Ford Ranger and turned it into something that looks like it's ready to tackle the apocalypse, or at least the local off-road park. The lift and those beefy tires give it the stance it always should have had, and the blacked-out details make this truck look downright menacing. The roof rack and light bar scream adventure, even if they might be overkill for a truck that probably spends most of its time on paved roads. But let's talk about that hood. Did you wrap it in carpet? Because it sure looks like you did. I'm guessing it's supposed to be some kind of rugged armor, but all it's really doing is adding a layer of WTF to an otherwise solid build. Maybe it's a fashion statement for trucks, like putting a shag rug on your dashboard. Either way, it's unique, I'll give you that. Overall, this is one badass Ranger. Just be prepared for people to ask if you're on your way to audition for the next Mad Max movie.
I had an absolute blast listening to the Car Roaster 4000 wreck all of my vehicles. If you have a vehicle that you want in on my next video, go ahead and send it to me. I got a bunch more of my own personal projects that I can throw up there for the next one. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time.